Hey there, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We're a minimalist couple driven by intentional living and adventure.
Burned out from the 24/7 grind of running our business, we traded the hustle and the bustle for something more meaningful.
We parted ways with most of our belongings and moved to the coast.
Listen along as we chat about life's challenges, share inspiring stories of those who have taken big leaps to live a life outside of the norm,
and help you live with more intention and less physical and mental clutter.
Each episode is a step toward doing and being just a little bit better for ourselves and the world around us.
Life's an adventure after all. Join us for the ride.
It's the Arner Adventures podcast. Hello, everybody. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Shannon.
And we are back for episode 180 of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Yes, and we are now really making our way through June. Still the beginning of June, but by the time this drops, we're in it. We're really in it. And with June is the Get Outdoors month. And so what we thought we would do is for this episode and the rest of the month, we're going to be talking about all things outdoors, ways to get outside more, that benefits of getting outside, all different things that we have found helpful and we think could be helpful for you.
That's right. And presently we're sitting on a couch indoors, but we are going to get into a discussion about being outdoors.
It's a little too humid out this morning for our equipment. It would start getting damp and wet. And so we said, you know what? Instead of that idea, which was a great idea, Jer, we are just going to take it inside. But who knows? Maybe one of the next couple, you're going to hear a bunch of birds in the background. Who knows?
That's right. And if you're looking out the window, it's helpful.
That's true. Yeah. We have everything open, windows, the front door, everything. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, just because it's warming up outside doesn't mean you stop being cozy. You just get strategically cozy.
And that's where Cozy Earth comes in. Their bamboo sheets, total game changer, especially if you're a hot sleeper like some of us.
They're literally temperature regulating, so you can sleep like it's springtime in the mountains, even if it's actually sweaty Carolina coast outside.
And they've got more than sheets. Shannon's basically living in a resort robe and loungewear these days.
Guilty, because if I can be comfy and look like I could check into a spa any moment, I'm in.
And everything's made from sustainable materials, so it's better for you and the planet.
So here's the deal. Head to arneradventures.com/cozyearth, that's all one word, Cozy Earth, to save 40% off site-wide. Sheets, loungewear, robes, whatever cozy you're craving, now's the time.
Because sweating through your sheets is not the vibe.
It is not. We're adults who've earned our chill. Again, that's arneradventures.com/cozyearth. Go get your cozy sustainably. So what are we talking about today, Jer?
Well, so glad you asked, Shannon. We're talking about easy to implement outdoor habits.
That's right. So, sometimes you think, oh gosh, I've got so much to do. I'm sitting in front of the computer all day. Hey, I hear you. I mean, when I'm working, I am literally in front of a screen all the time. That is why there are so many things that I do to make sure that I get the outdoor time. And so the things we're going to be talking about today are just these easy, simple outdoor habits, much like our Get Outdoors challenge, the 30-day challenge, which if you haven't started it and you haven't joined us on it, you can do it anytime. It's just 30 days.
In a row.
That's right. It's free. It's a free download. You can find it in the show notes. You can just, every day, it's just an easy to implement way to get outside. But today we're going to dive into some of our favorites.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when you wake up in the morning and you're looking at your to-do list, right away you should figure out between those to-dos, can I step outside? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We live in a world where we're just encouraged to hustle. And we've talked about before that used to be our life. And, staying plugged in, filling every moment with being productive. But we've learned that the most productive thing we can do is, like Jerry said, step outside. It doesn't have to be for a long hike, although those are great. But, if it's during the work week, you might not have time to do that. So, it doesn't have to be for a whole afternoon. It's just for a moment.
And this month, get intentional. If you're looking at your to-do list, and let's say number 4 is spit shine my shoes. Where typically you might do that inside. Go, why can't that be done out in the back deck, right? Because sometimes you just sort of go rolling along and you don't think about, hey, this could be better done outside.
You're right.
So so get outdoors daily.
Yeah. It's not groundbreaking to say that being outside is good for you. We have shouted it from the rooftops. Not really. I'm a loud talker, but I don't think I've ever shouted it. But you probably read all about, the sunshine, vitamin D, it helps you focus and boost just 100 million benefits. But what we found is that it's not the big outdoor adventures that changed our lives, although they did change our lives.
Yeah,
But it is the tiny moments of getting outside.
it is. Well, and even sunshine, just sunshine on its own, besides getting outside, is vital. I can't go more than about 2 days without it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We both talked about the issue of when it's cloudy and rainy for
Hmm.
days. What a disaster that
Yeah.
can be on your mood. It's
Uh-huh.
terrible.
Yeah, but you get outside for a few minutes, and especially if there's sunshine, your stress is managed better. We feel more like humans and less like overworked robots.
That's true.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we have dived into this before about the benefits of being outside. That's linked in the show notes if you want to, dig into it again. But let's go through our favorite outdoor habits. And these are things that anyone can try if you're craving more ease, less burnout. These are just bite-sized outdoor habits that anyone can do.
Yeah, and I'll start. Spit shining my shoes. That's a joke. The first one is our walking meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need in the morning. Sometimes you need to brainstorm and get your goals, your to-do list together. We walk and we talk. Not fancy. You're walking one step at a time. You're walking in a forward direction, and you're both doing it. You can take a lap around the neighborhood, a lap around the block. You can double lap the block.
Depends on how long your meeting is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can go. You can do two different blocks. We'll do a quick stroll with our puppies, Rue and Bee, and they usually lead the way, keep us going. That's good motivation. Something about being in motion stimulates creativity and
Mm-hmm.
thought, more positive thought, and it helps if you're in motion outside.
Yeah,
And, it
totally.
helps you stay grounded, literally and figuratively.
I kind of extend that where if I know I have a phone call like that's going to be a little bit longer and I don't have to sit in front of my laptop, it's just chatting like I don't know, with anybody. I try to put my earbuds on, get Rue and B, and go walk while I talk.
Yeah,
It's just so much better. And like you
yeah,
said, it does sort of spur creativity and
uh-huh,
get thoughts going.
yeah, yes, indeed.
Well, the second one and one that's one of our favorites is coffee on the porch or deck or dock, just wherever that you enjoy coffee. There's something really calming about drinking your morning coffee outdoors. You don't bring your phone out there and your laptop. Just no screens, no inboxes, just the birds doing their thing, us doing our
Yeah,
thing. Even just 5 minutes can set the tone for a slower, more present day. And I'll kind of talk about that too, that when Betty was with us, every day at lunch, she just loved being on the front porch. And so I would always make my lunch, take her on the front porch, and because she would hang, she was older and it's not like she was going to try to get off the porch like Rue and B,
yeah,
but she would just hang and it would force me. I say force me, but it would hold me accountable to make sure that I got outside while I ate lunch. And I just didn't, I also didn't have my laptop, didn't have my phone. I just enjoyed that time out there with her. I wish I could get back to that. Rue and B aren't the greatest about being managed on the porch. I need to figure something out because they could jump over whatever we put out there. But if you can't do coffee because you rush into work or whatever, maybe eat lunch outside. It's kind of the same concept.
that's right. And moving along, this is one of my favorites, the midday reset walk. Because let's face it, you can get bogged down in the morning, and sometimes by midday, you need a little something more than lunch. So a 10-minute break out in the mid-afternoon helps split the day in half. Maybe right after lunch, right before lunch, and gives our brains a chance to breathe. I like saying that. Our brains
Mm-hmm.
a chance to breathe. So good to do it with just you and the birds singing. No podcast, no music, just us walking it out. And especially when things are feeling kind of heavy, especially on a Monday or Tuesday, things are feeling heavy and hectic. You
Yeah.
need these little resets more.
I had to start doing this
Mm.
a little bit more. Like it seemed like every time I went outside, I was putting my earbuds in, listening to a podcast. And it was a way of me feeling like I was still being productive. Like I would listen to podcasts that were, about marketing or, blogs, or it would always be something related to what I do.
Mm-hmm.
While I love those, I have tried now to make sure that I do take those walks and don't have anything in my ears. Like this morning
Mm-hmm.
when I was walking the girls, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to grab my earbuds. I'm just going to be out there and just, I don't know, be more in tune with the outdoors, as woo-woo as that sounds.
Yeah.
It does matter.
Yeah, well, and sometimes too, and I mean, yeah, sure, it's good to be and build on your day with things that pertain to the work you do and stuff, but sometimes just having nothing on your mind frees your mind up for more creative thinking.
Hmm.
And you might be missing that if you're constantly taking information through a podcast or whatnot.
And you and I
Yeah.
are two people who have a really hard time of having nothing.
Yeah.
So it is work,
Mm-hmm.
but it's well worth it.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
So the next one that I love are outdoor brain dumps. So if you are stuck in a rut of an idea, it could be a creative rut, or you're spiraling into to-do list mode, you can grab a notebook, head outside, and just think about nothing for a little bit. Try not to think about anything. Let the fresh air sort of make the ideas flow, and the stress slows down. I'm going to give you an example. I talked about this actually on the Girlish Gurus podcast when I was talking about my walks and how important they are. There was a campaign that we were working on, and we were able to come up with a concept, which sometimes they give you a concept and you can make it yours, but I had to come up with the whole concept. So I was kind of struggling. There was a few days where I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to, get chat to read me something out to do. I wanted to make it authentic and our own. And I finally was like, forget this. I'm going to go for a walk. And so I took the girls for a walk, went down by the water. We saw a dolphin. I was so excited. That never gets old, by the way. We saw a dolphin, and I'm walking, and literally, I'm not kidding. And within like a minute, the entire idea came to my head. And I chalk that up to I was able to not focus on something else. I was able to clear my brain out and have like the dolphin or being out with Rue and B or the outdoors kind of make room for that idea to come. So anyway, it was the idea that we went with, and it worked, and they loved it. And it really does help. There's studies that talk about it, but I'm speaking from experience. It really does help.
Yeah. Puts things in perspective a little bit. And then,
Yeah.
then your mind opens up to different, maybe more positive things.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. The alfresco email check-ins. That's just a neat thing to say. Alfresco email check-ins.
Well, it's better than saying outdoor email. It's a fancy way of saying it.
It's a fancier way of saying
We like
it.
to be fancy around here.
We do like our fancy alfresco. Well, this is keeping our phones on do not disturb. But when it's time to check email, we feel this is best done about twice a day. You have two different spots in a day when you turn your phone back off of the do not disturb and you check your email and whatnot. Doing it outside makes it feel less like a chore. And, because you can look at an email, then you can look at a bird. So it's a solid reminder that we don't have to chain ourselves to desks to be working.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us learned this during COVID, during the pandemic, being shut down, that you can really work from a lot of people in certain jobs can work from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with this, it's kind of like, I can't go outside yet. I have to check my emails because it's that time of day. I haven't done it since early this morning. It's the afternoon. Let me check. No, let me go outside, and I can just check it on my phone outside, just to see if anything has to be handled there.
Yep, that's right.
So the other thing that is, we've talked about a few times on here, but it is one of our favorite things that we do, are our mini breaks outside. So, Lord, I've talked about this so much. I feel like every episode has something to do with me and the Pomodoro method. But I, of course, use the Pomodoro method. If you don't know what it is, it's you put your timer, any timer. We actually have one linked on our website for 25 minutes. And during that 25-minute time, you are focused on your work. So there's a lot of studies that talk about when you get distracted, how long it takes you to get back to the task. It takes a long time. So for that 25 minutes, you do everything you can to not be distracted. So if you're working on a project, you don't open an email, you don't look at anything else. Just for that 25 minutes, you're focused. And then when the timer goes off, you get up away from that task and you go take a 5 or 10 minute break. I think the Pomodoro method talks about 10 minutes. Sometimes I just do 5, but then you return back for work. But what I do is every time I take a break, I walk outside, even if it's to stretch on the front porch, even if it's, to go out back and see our kitty cartel, whatever it is, I just make sure I walk outside. It matters. It truly matters, and really kind of gets me ready to go back and do another 25-minute session and be on my game instead of feeling chained to my desk.
That's right. You know what else matters is things that are fun and things that are fun to say. And Pomodoro is as fun to say or more than alfresco.
I agree.
So if you have something like Pomodoro in your corner, it might be one of the first things you think about today.
I agree.
Just because it's a fun word.
There are some, Pomodoro is a type of tomato.
Uh-huh.
There are some people who really love the Pomodoro method, and they'll get a tomato timer. and turn it on 25 minutes. I don't like to hear the click
Wow.
sound, so I can't handle that. But yeah, people really get into it.
The fun is limitless with the Pomodoro.
It is
It's not. You
limit.
just enlightened me to something that I didn't even know about.
Uh-huh.
That's great. Well, let's talk about how these habits transformed our day to day.
Yeah.
How about that? We didn't make some big announcements like let's change our lives through the power of nature. We never stated that. It just kind of seeped in through all these little habits. And you make minor adjustments. I'm one that advocates for that kind of thing, just taking things in little pieces
Yeah.
until they build up, until you have some good habits going. Things that where we've had our coffee, taking our coffee breaks, and when we walk the dogs, just like that, being strategic about that and trying to be consistent. And bit by bit, these moments will add up, and you'll notice less stress. You'll sleep better. Fewer miscommunications. That's important too if you're working together. More of a calm and grounded feeling than as we were always chasing.
I'll tell you the way that all of this got started, really. And I was thinking about how it transformed. And we didn't make some big announcement like, hey, we're going to change our lives through the power of nature. It really started of our tiny living. Like when we sold everything and moved to the coast, which episode 1, you can listen to that. We lived in a tiny space. It was about 500 square foot. And it's like if we stayed in, we were going to go crazy. So we just got outside more. And then we were looking for ways to get outside more, have the coffee on that front porch or be outside with Betty or whatever it was. So you don't have to, of course, make a big lifestyle change like we did. That's what we're saying is these are tiny little habits or tiny little ways that you can form a habit of wanting to be outside. There's not a lot more that I enjoy than being outside. Like rain, sleet, snow. Yeah, it kind of sucks that you're getting wet or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was at my mom's recently and we were working in the garden and it started raining. And we stayed out there. The only time we stopped was when it started raining so hard we couldn't see.
Yeah,
And then we went inside. But it was nice. It's like, who cares if you're getting wet? Like, it's not that big of a deal. So it's not about becoming kind of people who live in hiking boots. It's about giving ourselves space to breathe, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, you definitely don't walk out when it's raining, but something about being caught outside when it's raining,
Yeah.
sometimes it is kind of fun. It's exhilarating.
It is.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to straighten that out. You come in, you dry off. It's not a big process.
It's not.
No, yeah, you change clothes and you're good.
Yeah. You dry up the floor a little bit. Put a towel on the floor. It's not a big deal.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Well, so try it this week. You don't need a lot of space. You don't need a national park or a national park pass or hours of free time. You just need a few minutes. You need your door. You can even look out the window, but eventually make it to your door and try to get through it. Just try picking up one of these habits at a time. We always advocate for things like that, just to take it in pieces. And then when they add all up, you'll have something good going. Test it out this week. It's the month to do it. It's the National Outdoors Month, and let it become part of your rhythm this month. And who knows? It might stick with you through National Raccoon Month or National, through the year. And either way, it's worth stepping outside for.
Yeah. Tiny habits, big breaths of fresh air. I can't imagine what could be better. The beauty of being outside, it's not just about the fresh air, but it is the permission to pause, to reset, to do things differently, even if it's just for 5 minutes, especially if it's just for 5 minutes.
That's right.
And of course, don't forget, you can give our Get Outdoors Challenge a try. It's linked in the show notes. It's free. You got nothing to lose, only things to gain. So implement it, daily. They're just simple ways each day to get outside.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from what we talked about, please share it with a friend.
It's a great way of supporting the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you are listening to us on.
And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That also supports us. You can always find us, the show notes, and sponsors who support the podcast at arneradventures.com.
And until next time, enjoy the journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Bye-bye.